Good morning and welcome to day 4 of the Mental Caffeine for 2017 series. I am grateful and excited to have Carolyn Owen on the line with us today. So Carolyn's resume and experience is extensive, so I'm excited to learn from her today. I'm just going to move this over here so we can actually see a few of these words here. Okay, awesome. So Carolyn is the chairman and CEO of Infinity Coaching. She's a career, leadership, and life coach that helps move individuals just like you forward, allowing them to take command of their lives. With over 25 years of various experience, she's a leading authority on leadership, on professional development, and has worked with some of the top leaders. She has a wealth of certification and education in this area. In particular, she's one of the select few who's certified in rapid employment, certified rapid employment master coach. I want to make sure I got the term right. She's been featured in Money Magazine, on Fox News, and Huffington Post, and many more shows and TVs. You know, her passion is to empower people with the skills to allow them to have the success in however way they define it, be it in a career, a job, or in their own business. Carolyn, excited to have you. So today we are talking about the Energy Leadership Index. Now I gotta admit, I don't know a lot about this, so I'm excited to learn. So what is that about?
Well, first I want to say thank you so much for having me here with you. I'm excited and honored to be with so many people that are just doing great things. And I can say I got my mental caffeine for when I watch, and I'm here. But when we talk about the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, it is a way of really helping you focus on the direction and path you want to go on, because we're all leaders. I mean, that is the philosophy I take. It's also the philosophy I've been trained in, that we're all leaders, and we don't stop to think that there's always somebody watching us, watching our actions. And we focus on that traditional thinking of leaders. And we think of the hierarchy in the military, the hierarchy in an organization. But even as parents, as teachers, as coaches, I mean, just even if every day, if you don't have children, we are leaders. There's always someone watching our behavior, being influenced by our behavior. That person that you're interacting with when you check out at a restaurant or in a store, that cashier. And so you are influencing people. And it's how we influence others, our own self and the people we interact with every day. That's what leadership is about. And so the Energy Leadership Index Assessment it helps you understand, how are you showing up as a leader? Are you in alignment with your purpose, with your passion? And are you really living up to your full God-given potential? It differs from other assessments when you've probably heard about the Myer Briggs type indicator or DISC, just to name a couple of them, where the MBTI and DISC are your preferred style, and typically they don't change. When you take those, it gives you, hey, this is your preferred way of communication. This is your preferred way of operating. And I'm also certified to administer the MBTI. But with the ELI, with the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, it is a snapshot in time of how you're showing up. And based on how you begin to engage as a leader, you begin to shift your leader. This one will change over time. So as you begin to raise your level of energy, because everything about us is energy, our thoughts, our actions. And we have this belief system that's created over time from our experience, from our raised, and two people that we first interact with in life, our parents. So we have our belief system, and our thoughts are energy. And we begin to sit there and think about, how are we interacting? How are we showing up? And so the Energy Leadership Index Assessment is going to show you this. How are you engaging? How are you truly focusing on, in particular areas of your life, the key areas of your life? Relationships, communication, spirituality, financial, career, your professional, personal development, It gives you all of this great information that helps you then focus on that career, focus on that business, and how you truly want to live your life.
Awesome. So my takeaways in terms of what the Energy Leadership Index is really, it's making me more self-aware of how I'm showing up in the current, and how it differs from the other ones that we may be more familiar with, like the DISC and the Myer Briggs. Is those ones tell you what your preferred style is, while this is really focusing on how you're really showing up, how your energy is being perceived. And then depending on, I guess, our goals and what I'm understanding, perhaps next steps in terms of how you can move towards improvements in different areas in your life. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, you're spot on there. It does. Once you complete the assessment, it will help you develop an action plan and next steps on, well, how do you get to where you want to be? Because it reveals so much information about you. And you talked about self-awareness, and that's the key thing. With self-awareness, we have to begin to understand not just our strengths, but our weaknesses as well. And the assessment is going to help to tell you about your strengths and about your weaknesses and what areas do you want to focus on to improve, to get to those goals, to achieve your purpose in life. And I always talk about having success on your own terms. And it's going to reveal a lot of that. It does reveal a lot of that information for you, allowing you to develop a roadmap. And how are you going to focus? And see, really beginning to understand who you are, so you can perform to your best optimal level. That's where it starts, self-awareness. And I think self-awareness is going to be key in 2017. I think engagement and learning with all the changes in social media and growth of social media, we focused a lot on engagement in 2016. In 2017, I think we need to get back to now self-awareness, because people are really needing to be authentic right now. People don't want you to show up on social media with a mask on and not really being who you are. People want to relate and engage with a real person. Who are you really? How are you showing up? And if you are beginning to step into your true self, and you're really operating at an energy level that's, what you're resonating, what you're putting out there, you're going to attract to you the things that you desire. You're going to attract more positive things in life, because it starts by helping understand, are you operating at a level in life where you're just, everything's just draining you and you're feeling down all the time. And you may think that you may be hiding yourself and not allowing yourself to fully look in the mirror, and really have to hold yourself accountable and be honest with yourself. And so as you raise that self-awareness, as you become honest with yourself, as you begin to allow yourself and to step into who you fully are, you will see things begin to change in your life. Your relationships will improve. Your communication will improve. Your business, your career, everything around you begins to change as you raise your self-awareness. And again, it's not just focusing on your strengths, but understanding your weaknesses as well. But accepting those weaknesses and feeling and understanding it's not a negative thing. We all have weaknesses in life. I was talking earlier today about some that I have, and you just start thinking about, well, how then do I balance that out in life that I can continue on that path to success?
What you said so resonated with me, because one of the passions that I have on my channel is to inspire authentic leadership. And when I came up with that sort of vision statement for my YouTube channel that this is going to be airing on, the whole goal is that for you to accept and show who you are now. Love where you are now. Yeah. Be aware, as you said, strengths and weaknesses, and then make some pivots. Right? But be accepted and show up how you are. No mask, be authentic. So I was just like, this so resonates with me. So tell us a bit more about how someone can get this assessment done. Do they have to meet you in person, or is it something we can do virtually?
It's all done virtually. It is online. And what I encourage people to do is when they're taking it, to find a time when they're kind of relaxed, and they can just sit down and walk through it. It takes about 25, 30 minutes to complete. And it has its own checks and balances built into it to ask you the questions that focuses on these key areas in your life. There's no right or wrong answers. And it's nothing like, it's not, don't begin to judge yourself. I think that's one of the things we do. We become so critical of ourselves as we're going through things. But think about it. This is to educate you and to provide that self-awareness for you. So stop judging yourself. Really start thinking, I want to raise, take myself to that next level. I'm going to raise my game. How am I going to do this in 2017? I'm going to start with self-awareness. I'm going to go through, there's, as I said, you have MBTI, you have DISC, and you have those are the popular ones, along with the Energy Leadership Index assessment. And with the Energy Leadership Index assessment, you definitely have to have someone that's certified to administer it, that's certified to debrief it. And I think with any assessment that you do, that's key, is making sure that person that's administering it is going to take time to walk through it with you so that you do have that understanding of what it really means for you. If someone just gives you an assessment and says, hey, take it, don't explain it, that's to me just unethical. They need to be able to walk through it and explain it to you. And then you develop, what's next? What is the action steps? How can I apply what I've now learned about myself? But again, it's all online. And pretty much you can, if you're interested, if you're watching this and you're interested, I would say send me an email. And then I would definitely be able to connect with you and set up a time, how you're going to get it, and give you the pointers on how do you set your environment to take it. Because the information you receive from this is so important. Every time I've administered this assessment, the feedback that I have received has been amazing. I mean, it has just really, it has opened eyes for some people in realizing, one of the most interesting one was a person who'd been through some abuse, sexual abuse, and she could not get ahead in her relationship. He loved her and wanted to marry her, but she was holding on to the pain and the hurt because she blamed herself so much, and she had to let go and forgive herself, as the victim. And when she realized that, I didn't deserve this, I can move past from it. I look at pictures of them together now, and it's just, it warms your heart to see how happy they are together once she was able to clear this block, the beliefs that she had created for herself, and becoming aware of what was holding her back from succeeding in life.
Yeah, I forgot to mention earlier in the broadcast, and I'm going to mention it now. Carolyn and I spoke at the beginning of the show, and I'm excited about an amazing special that she's going to offer to anyone who watches this entire webcast right to the end. We're going to give you a code for a special on getting that energy assessment done. And exactly what Carolyn said, it's great to have an assessment, but the real value is when you have someone certified that really walks through what those results mean to you and give you a good, thorough debrief. And as Carolyn mentioned briefly, I want to extend, she actually does a good 2-hour debrief with you after you do that assessment, so you have clarity about what it means and sort of what those next steps are for you. Awesome. So Carolyn, what events or how can people get in touch with you? Well,
I want to say kind of now, save the date. I'm looking at May 20th, 2017 as a workshop that I'm doing. And it's going to be, that's a Saturday here in the DMV area, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And it's really going to be content driven. It's going to be one that the information you're going to get from it is going to be amazing. I've already have the curriculum written. And I'm one who loves to give gifts during the workshops and everything, so they'll be giving away books and door prizes and everything, but it's going to be really learning how to have the balance in life, but understanding what it means to have balance in life, what it means to follow your purpose. And we're going to do the work that day that really outlines some things and steps that you need to take to be in alignment with your purpose, to really be showing up and living to that full God-given potential. So you're not going to just sit there and hear me talk all day. It's going to be very interactive. You're going to be doing the work. And then, of course, we'll have some follow-up at, about a month later where there's some follow-up. So it's not that you just walk in, you come to a workshop and you do the work and that's it. It keeps going for a little while to make sure you're implementing and you're doing the things and you're being held accountable. So it's going to be a great, exciting day. I've been looking forward to this for some time, but I encourage you, save the date. But if you want to find more information about that, or I do teleseminars throughout the year, I do webinars throughout the year, and you can email me at cowens@infinitycoaching.net. You have it there on the screen for me. Thank you. Definitely. And you can follow me on social media. I am a Twitter addict. I love Twitter. And you can find me on Twitter at Carol R. Owens. And also on Periscope. I'm on Periscope 3 times a week at least. I try to get on there. And what we do is we share tips and strategies that will help you move forward in your career, your business, or your life. And on Thursdays, we hop on and we do some real talk. We take all this knowledge that you get. You got so much coming at you all the time, but how does it apply to real life? How does it apply to how you're engaging in your community, in relationships, communication at your work? And we give some real stories. We talk about what's trending. We talk about how this really relates, all this information and tips and strategies. But what's practical application? How does it really relate to me? And so you get to see that on Thursdays. And then Friday, we kind of wind up on Periscope with some follow-up strategies, send you off to have an awesome weekend. But that's Periscope, which is at Carol R. Owens. And then Facebook, you can find me there, infinitycoaching.co. I think I'm missing Instagram. Instagram's my second favorite social media platform. And that's at Carolyn R. Owens. I am all over social media. I love social media, but definitely visit my website, email me. Love to hear some feedback, any questions, suggestions, ideas. You can also find out, if you follow me, you'll see my radio show information. And I have a lot of fun. I love what I do. So definitely look forward to hearing from you guys.
Yeah, and I want to say as well that Carolyn's also on YouTube, and I'll put the link to in the notes. I want to just touch really briefly, before I touch on this actually, I want you to share what your offer is, because I think it's a spectacular offer in terms of getting that Energy Leadership Index completed at the front end of 2017, so you can use that information to really engage and pivot up towards the success you deserve for 2017. Can you share a bit more with us, please?
I will. So, I believe Energy Leadership Index gives you a foundation and a focus on how to start the year. You can, of course, take it at any time, but what we're going to do today, now this assessment is normally $197 for the 2-hour debrief plus the actual processing of the assessment. So if you use, we said, what's the code word again? Is it caffeine?
We're going to share it near the end of the show.
Oh, okay. So I won't tell you the complete code word yet. You're going to get $70 off. And it's only for people who have watched this. And so you got to know the code word to be able to get it. And you're going to, instead of $197 for you, it'll be $127 for the full 2-hour debrief plus the assessment. And so that really gives you an opportunity. And if you can look to see other people that are doing this assessment and how much they charge for it. You can, check out my credentials, my background, to see, yes, I am 100% qualified to administer this. And I will tell you, I've taken this myself a couple times because I always walk through the process and be able to understand how it applies to me, to really validate what I believe in, why I believe in it, and what I teach. So if you've watched this program, you'll have the code word at the end. You'll get $70 off, and that'll be through up until the date of the workshop, which is going to be May 20th. Up until that date, because if you're coming to the workshop, it also helps to give you that foundation and to go deeper into what we're going to talk about that day. So definitely, you're going to email me the code word if you want the special, and we'll give you that code word at the end of this presentation.
Okay, and so I wanted to again touch a little bit about, what I really liked about the seminar or the workshop that you're doing on May 20th.
Yes.
Wanted to highlight that it's going to be interactive, and I think
Yes.
for the adult learning process, for us to really engage and really receive value from an event, it has to be interactive. And the second thing I really liked is that, I've gone to a lot of workshops, and you go to the workshop, you get excited, you drink from a fire hose with all the information, and then you go home and you say, what's next? Where do I start? So I love that with your workshop, you took that into consideration, and there is a follow-up.
Yes.
So the information that you take, because there's sometimes so much you cover in one day, and you may even go home and start a few things, but maybe a month or 2 months later, your energy is flagging, or your energy is fractured. And so to have that follow-up and that follow-through, I think adds more value to the people who choose to come out to the actual event, to know that there's that follow-up, they're being held accountable, really helping them to get the work done after they've learned the concepts.
And it definitely, that's one of the things I experienced going to different workshops. And really, it's after a couple of days when it starts sinking in, or how you go to the workshop and you get the books and stuff, and where did they collect dust on the shelf? Because there is no, follow-up to see how did it go? Do you have any questions? Here's some additional information that you can process. So there'll be a series of times throughout the, I'm considering up to 6 months after the workshop, where until we do the next one, which will probably be 6 months in between, where we'll go ahead and kind of just keep in touch with everybody and establish them. There's a Facebook community that they'll be able to join, and there's different things to keep that momentum going. And that was the hardest thing for me going to workshops is you go, you invest, and then there's nothing else. There's not anything to follow up and keep you motivated and inspired. And I want to empower people first to be able to motivate themselves, but also to continue to empower them throughout the time after attending that workshop. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Okay, so another wonderful surprise. I strong-armed Carolyn at the beginning of the event. I said, you know what? I want to be able to give another special. So she said, okay, yes, let's do something special. So on top of the $70 off of the Energy Leadership Index, for the first 10 people who contact Carolyn to get that index completed before May 20th, she is also offering not 10, but 20% off of additional coaching or any other programs that you may choose to do based on what that index assessment shows you.
Yes.
So now, let us share that code. Oh, no, wait, just kidding. You're having fun. Actually, I'm going to make you wait a little bit longer. So, Carolyn, in all seriousness now,
yes,
what would be one final thought or question or point that you want to leave with us about, the self-awareness, about the fact that we're all leaders, regardless of if we are in those typical quote-unquote leadership roles, right? And the fact that energy is everything, and energy and how you show up attracts things into your life. What would be a last thought there?
I think a good place to start off this new year is looking at ourselves in the mirror and really begin to understand who we really are. And as we do that, being able to understand how we engage in our relationships, how we communicate at work. Are we making excuses and not really taking responsibility? I'm a fan of, the Marvel comics and the DC comics, both of them. And one of the things, if you're a Spider-Man fan, that the saying, with great power comes great responsibility. And I want to change that a little bit and say, with the self-awareness comes great responsibility. And you can use the Energy Leadership Index as a way of raising your self-awareness so that you can step out into your true authentic self, living up to your full God-given potential, but accept responsibility for what comes next for you. you know, that you can create your future. You can really, you know, we can't control other people's actions, but we can control the choices and decisions that we make and how we choose to show up every day and how we choose to live our lives. And, you know, we shouldn't have that mediocre day-to-day just existing. We should live authentic and we should live out loud and truly enjoy life through the good times, through the bad times. Because, hey, let's face it, life is going to happen and it's not going to be perfect. But understanding how we're going to deal with those challenges by understanding who we are, how we resonate, how we show up, you know, that's a pretty fulfilling life. And you can have that extraordinary life. You can have that amazing career. You can have success on your own terms. So connect with me, find out about the assessment, or if you just have any questions, suggestions, ideas, like I said, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me an email. There's a contact me form on my website as well, and follow me on social media. I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. I loved that phrase. You know, with self-awareness comes great responsibility, because once you are self-aware, take the action, you know?
Yes.
I love that. Okay. So drum roll, please. Here is a special code. So again, you know, anyone who uses this code up until May 20th to contact Carolyn and get that assessment done, you're going to get $70 off. So instead of $197, you're going to pay a total of $127. Also, for the first 10 people who reach out to get this assessment done, you'll also have additional 20% off of any other services or coaching that you receive from Carolyn after having had that assessment done. So we decided to make the special code Caffeine 2017. I'm only saying it once. If you didn't catch it, okay, this, you know, it was fun. It was great to have this discussion. There's so many things that were shared that really resonated with the where I'm at right now in terms, as I said, being authentic, being self-aware, and then taking that action. So with self-awareness comes great responsibility. Carolyn, it was a real pleasure to have the opportunity to have this conversation with you and to understand a bit more about this Energy Leadership Index and how unique it is compared to these other tests that are more popular. And I want to wish you the most fantastic 2017. May it be bright and may it be full of blessings. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.